In the previous video, I talked a little bit about proper XML syntax, which is needed to make sure that the XML parser is able to properly parse your XML file. But above and beyond that, there's also a concept of what's called valid XML documents. So let's quickly review. Suppose you have an XML parser represented by these gears. You give it an XML file, and then as long as the syntax is proper and you've correctly named your elements and you've got, attributes that are quoted and so on, then the good results come out the other side. And that's called well-formed. But there's another way to make sure that XML documents are what's called valid. You can supply a set of rules which are applied to the parsing process in addition to the well-formed checks. So for example, you can supply rules that say things like tag A is only ever allowed to incur inside of tag B, attribute X only has these values, and so on. If the XML parser parses the document correctly and the document content passes the rules, that's called valid. There are two ways to do this. The first way is called the document type definitions. The second way is called XML schema. Document type definitions are simple to use, but they're not very powerful. They give you basic ways of making sure that certain content meets basic rules. They're written using a syntax that's somewhat different than XML. It's similar, but it's not exactly the same. XML schema, on the other hand, is much more powerful and flexible than DTDs are, and they're written using XML syntax rules. We will take a look at both document type definitions and XML schema later on in the course when we get to the sections on making valid XML documents.